You're probably looking at a team preview and wondering what is happening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I had a game against one Rick, also known as Dangerous36M, and I said, bring some shit out of your box that you've saved but you've never really found a place for on a team. Kind of like posts on Tumblr that are like, post a GIF that you've never had the opportunity to use. Usually that kind of shit turns out to be extremely out of context and extremely amazing. Such is the case with this match, and it turns out that both of us had a black Kyurem, which we've had a build, I guess, that we've never really used before. Mine being a choice banded one. I'm assuming his was a choice banded one as well. I'm not 100% on that yet, but he's got some other shit, you know, understandable for why not using Gothitelle. Gastrodon I'm a little surprised by, and then Machamp as well, but they all turn out to be fairly interesting things. So whatever, turned out to be a good game, and we'll just go and jump right into it. So he leads off with Machamp. Because I can see, you know, no glory, I'm assuming no guts, therefore which is like also no shit, because nobody runs guts on Machamp. If you want to run a guts user, you run Heracross in that tier. But he decided to switch out into his Kyurem Black on the second turn. Big ol' fucking threat, but you know what's a bigger threat right here? Well, not necessarily threatening as it is spooky. It's way too spoopy for your screen right now. Cover your eyes. But it's a choice banded Spirit Tomb. I'm gonna go ahead and hit him with a Sucker Punch. And this Dragon Claw does a lot. I don't know why I expected it to do less, even though I'm fully offensive. It almost takes me out outright. But I think he suspects it's based off that damage I'm choice banded, and he assumes correctly because he decides to switch out. I decide I want to save this thing for later, so I make a double switch into my Ammonite. I'm realizing that this is kind of a bad thing for Ammonite to be in on, so I decide to go out into my Lantern. I guess I was kind of expecting an HP Electric, or I really don't know what, to be honest, but he ends up going for an HP Grass, which is like, okay, you know, I got out of the frying pan and into the fryer, basically, so that was kind of stupid. Took a lot of unnecessary damage on that. I don't think I end up taking another hit with this for a while, though, so it's fine. This is a Specs Lantern, which is why I almost made the stupid decision right here, and, you know, ended up going for the Volt Switch, but it turns out I just go into my Mandibuzz, and we're finally at a situation where we stop switching around, and I'm able to nail him with a Toxic. Now, because I know Mandibuzz is a fairly specially defensive Pokemon, I should be able to take these hits reasonably well, phase him out, start going for Toxic, all that kind of stuff. Fortunately, don't get the burn here, which is very nice. But because he is going for Scalds, I don't really want this thing getting burned. I mean, if it did happen to happen on that first turn, it would have been disappointing, but overall it gives me some kind of status fodder going on, so hey, that's fine. But I decided to go into my Spiritomb, I think expecting him to switch, I think is what happened here. So it ends up being Kyurem Black versus Spiritomb again. Now, I do have Pursuit and Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak and Trick on this thing, so it's kind of the standard build, but I had to pick right there what he was going to do. So I decided, you know what, he's probably not going to switch out. He's probably going to stay in an attack because he knows how much damage the first Sucker Punch did, and he's going to be able to live the next one. So he was really scared of my Kyurem Black being scarfed the entire time, which is why I'm actually going to bring it in and make that bluff, and the nickname is basically what he fucking says. He's like, well, what are you going to do about it? But he switches out. I'm actually going to double switch into my Sigilyph in order for it to get its Flame Orb activated so I can start Psycho Shifting stuff. He goes into Gastrodon, not exactly a favorable switch for me, but not exactly a favorable switch for him as well because he's Toxic. So I can Cosmic Power Up right in his face. I may end up coming out of this matchup on top, but he does decide to go into his Kyurem right now as I got the Cosmic Power Up. As you guys are gonna see, the slight defensive investment I have on this thing combined with the Cosmic Power is actually going to be really important. It's going to let me live a Kyurem Black's Outrage. I don't know if he was like Jolly Choice Bandit or Adamant Choice Bandit. I don't know the story, but it does a lot of damage, and I'm just able to Psycho Shift him and kill him off with a burn. So I found that to be kind of hilarious given the Sigilyph's name and what Black Kyurem actually is in the trading card game. That's why I named it like that. But takes him out, get another burn going on, and I'm going to save this thing for later. I don't know when later, but it shut down his Kyurem, which means that my Kyurem is going to be relatively safe doing stuff as long as I can get some damage on Sableye. Now, I do suspect the taunt is coming, which is why I'm not going to go ahead and stay in and try to roost up, get back up to full, do anything. That my only offensive move is Stored Power, so I'm not going to be able to touch him in the first place. But he goes out into this thing, which I forgot about from like a couple turns ago, because I was way too busy focusing on like trying to take out Kyurem Black. I don't really write down team preview in stream. I probably should at least take a picture of it or something like that. But I end up going for the Volt Switch, kind of a stupid play, but I'm going to go out into my Ammonite right now. This thing, unfortunately, doesn't really do that much. It's just an Eviolite one, you know, meant to be used in NU and all that shit. Doesn't really take hits all that well either. I don't know what's with this Gastrodon, but I think I just get up one layer of spikes, and that's all it really does, as he takes me out with an Earth Power. Now, I do have HP Grass, but truthfully, I kind of expected to be slower, slash him to switch out. I was maybe, I don't know why I didn't expect a ground move right there. Probably like Scald and Ice Beam, but, you know, 9 out of 10 times these things do run a ground move, so I guess this is just me probably sacking it. I don't remember what my thought process was for that yesterday, so it's kind of silly, but I guess it does get me a safe switch in. I probably should have gone into Sigilyph to roost up, but I guess the better thing I'm going to do is go out into my Adamant Choice Banded Kyurem Black and take it out with an Outrage, which was in... I didn't really like this play, to be honest. Immediately after I clicked it, I remember that Sableye was still a thing, which, you know, gets the priority Will-O-Wisp, and he should be able to land it and burn me, and that really fucking sucks, because now my attack is halved, but it's still a lot, you know, being at half health. So Outrage, I think, is going to do over half, easy. I'm not sure how much over half, but I don't want to stay in and risk it with confusion and whatnot, so especially when he's just going to end up getting priority recovers off. So what I'm going to do is, I believe I'm going to switch out into my I was going to say either my Lantern or my Mandibuzz, but it looks like it's my Mandibuzz. This Mandibuzz is actually a reference to NBZ and how he says Mandibuzz, because he says Mandibuzz like someone's holding a bottle of booze and it's at the front of a ship. Someone needs to man it, someone needs to take care of it. So what this Mandibuzz does on the state side is it holds the beer. But I want to status this thing, I think. No, I don't, because taunt. So, I end up going out into this thing, suspecting him to want to go for the Will-O-Wisp again, if I'm not mistaken. Turns out he misses. He doesn't even get it in the first place. Otherwise, I would have said, Welp already has a burn. But I figure, because his Sableye is staying in here, he's got Recovery, he's got Will-O-Wisp, he's got Taunt. I don't know what else he's going to have, but I figure I might as well try to go for the Free Shock and see how much it does. And he has Foul Play. Now, Foul Play doesn't take the burn thing into account, so he's attacking with a 90 base power move using my attack stat, and it does a fuck ton of damage. But because Foul Play is not priority, he's gonna have to take this Free Shock, and you know, his Recover goes before I hit my Free Shock, and Free Shock does, Jesus, like 60-70% to a max HP, max defense Sableye, which is a little underwhelming, but when you take into account the fact that I'm burned, all of a sudden it's really not so bad. So on top of that, it just leaves me in prime condition to try to take it out with my Lantern, because I do have the Specs T-Bolt available to me. That is something I can definitely do, but it turns out he stays in. This is a very good play on his behalf. I don't know if he intended it for it to be this way, or he just didn't suspect I was going to have the HP Grass, but I tried to go for the HP Grass because I knew that was his initial switch in to Lantern before, and then it turns out, you know, I would have been able to knock it out, and then I remembered that I think I did knock it out earlier, which was really, really, really stupid. But he didn't even bother telling me at that point if he did knock it out already. I think I did. With Outrage, I kind of want to say I did. Okay, get to go into this thing. I'm going to bait the Taunt, so that way I can just go out into my Lantern for free again, but it turns out he just goes for the double Will-O-Wisp. Misses it on this one, which is absolutely hilarious to me. But here he knows that at the range he's at, I'm probably not going to want to go for a Volt Switch, and I'm going to want to go for something to take him out, which is why he tries to go into Lumineon, which actually has Storm Drain. I did not know about this beforehand, but I didn't want Hydro Pump to miss, is what I told him. So I decided to go for T-Bolt, accidentally predict correctly, which accidentally and predicting don't know. I clicked Thunderbolt, and he just walked right into it, I think is a better thing to say about that. But that's the end of that. He goes into Machamp. I learned, I think, next turn what this thing is, because he tries to hit me with the Focus Blast because he's actually a Specs Machamp. Being no guard, he's going to hit all of his Focus Blast, he's going to hit all of his Fire Blast. If he has any other move with less than 100% accuracy, he's going to be able to hit that too. As you can see, Mandibuzz, being a nice little special defensive thing, is going to take Focus Blast. A-okay. I don't want to go for a Roost because if I get rid of my Flying typing, Focus Blast is going to do double the amount, and it'll just leave me in a way worse situation than it did leave me before. So naturally, gonna hit 2 for 2. Focus Miss is never gonna be a Focus Miss around Machamp. It's actually gonna be Focus Blast. He focuses it, and he doesn't quite kill me off because I'm left at 3 HP. And I'm Brave Bird. That's what I do, and that's what I take it out with. And it turns out I don't even take myself out to recoil, and I get a crit to put salt in the wound. So end up with a little bit more HP than I was at before. Mandibuzz doing some good work here. So he goes into Gothitelle. Now, this Gothitelle is scarfed, which is why this next series of plays are actually very important for what ends up happening for the rest of the game. But he's going to choose T-Bolt to kill me off with, which means that I can safely switch into my Lantern, you know, having Volt Absorb and everything. He's not going to stay in and heal me. He's going to want to switch out and just end up, you know, fucking dying to whatever attack I'm going to go for, so that way he can switch up what move he's locked into. So a little bit of spike damage. I don't know if it ended up mattering. If it did, Godspeed Spagoodle, God fucking speed. But Specs T-Bolt takes him out from that range. Wonderful, wonderful job. So I think his last one left, it actually happens to be his Gothitelle here, and I think 2 spike switch-ins is actually going to come in a little bit handy after he does end up taking me out with the Psyshock. I can't, actually he doesn't take me out. Okay, so that with a T-Bolt is going to leave him at a very low amount of HP. Gonna be vital for the next switch-in because Siglif is a boss. So it takes me out with another Psyshock. Not that I could have done anything about it because I was locked in, and locked in every sense of the word. You know, locked into T-Bolt, locked into staying in. So comes down to this, whether or not I can live this, and I live it on 1, ladies and gentlemen. I think this might have been one of my last Pokemon, but I'm going to roost off the damage, and because I am burned, I can kill off the Gothitelle the same way I killed off the Kyurem Black with the Psycho Shift. So I'm going to put my burn onto him, and I know Psyshock is not going to end up taking me out from that range. I think he did 61 on that one too. Did he? I don't remember. Or maybe he actually did end up doing 62 damage on that one, which is a little unfortunate for him, but he needed a fairly high damage roll. We did calcs on that because it was absolutely fucking hilarious, but it ended up being a fairly good game. You know, it was a 1-0 with crap and Kyurem Blacks. I wasn't expecting it, but hope that tided you guys over. That's going to be the end of the week for battles and stuff like that. I actually did a couple good... I can't talk. I did get a couple of good ones yesterday, which was very nice. We'll be seeing those in the weeks to come and whatnot. I also have a couple of older ones in the folder that I've been wanting to hang on for a while to let people forget about them and stuff. So now that I actually do have material, I'm going to be a little more consistent. So how about that? Anyway, a little bit of a longer game today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like rating, comment, and subscribe, and do your thing. And I think that'll do it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.